It isn't perfect, but it's still progress. I think sometimes we expect this journey to look neat and tidy. I know for a fact mine doesn't, but even when it's messy, it's still moving forward. And that's what I'm going to talk about today in my weekly update. Once we've done the weekly update, we'll move on to the Q&A session, which I do every Saturday, where you'll find a middle-aged chubby man trying to bumble his way through the questions that you've sent in. If you're new here, my name is Mounjaro and I've lost over £70 now in just over 7 months on my medicated weight loss journey using Mounjaro. So every single Sunday without fail, I inject a 5mg Mounjaro dose into my little chubby belly and I document the highs, the lows and everything in between. I'm not a medical professional and I'm certainly not here to impress anyone. I just want to give you an honest opinion of what it's like to be taking Mounjaro and show you exactly what progress can look like. First up today, we are going to give a weekly update. So this week's all about progress over perfection. And I have had what I would call a good week. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you'll know that there's been quite a few downs recently and not so many ups. And when I say downs, I mean it's not been going well, not as in downs, weight loss. The last couple of weeks have been a lot better. My food noise has subsided a lot. My appetite has subsided a lot. But I am still considering going up to 7.5mg dose. You might be wondering why that is the case. I think that 5mg has been the worst dose for me. Not worst as in side effects. I mean worse as in it's been the least effective dose that I've used on my journey so far. I did 4 weeks on 2.5mg and then moved up to 3.75mg for probably 5-6 months and recently went up to 5. And without a doubt, it's been the least effective of any of the doses I've taken. A few weeks back, proper hit a rocky road, was eating what I wanted, appetite was all over the place, food noise was full on old fatty me again. Not enjoyable, but the last fortnight, definitely been back on track, and that's why I'm saying progress over perfection at the moment, because I feel like I'm finally making progress. I've managed to get to the gym 3 times this week, so I'm chuffed to bits with that. And that's always a good sign as to whether I'm in the zone or whether I'm not in the zone. I did chest one day, shoulders another day, and arms. Yes, I did arms. So those are really the 3 muscle groups I enjoy doing. I very rarely do legs when I'm in the gym. If you're my legs and you're carrying around 17 and a half stone every single day, kind of feel that gives them a bit of a let off because they're doing the work every single time I walk or move. I know that's not real, it's just an excuse. But who enjoys leg day at the gym? I certainly don't. So as I said, it's been a better week and my weight has changed. I have dropped 1 pound. So I am nearly where I was at before my Christmas rise now. I think I'm £1 pound off that. So it's all positive, it's all good, it's progress over perfection. And at this stage of the game, that's all I can ask for. I'm still quite a way off my goal and I have got a video coming out on Wednesday which is going to be talking about my struggle towards goal. Right, before we move on to the Q&A session, and we do have quite a few questions this week, as always I will try and make the video not too long and not too boring, and if I'm failing at that I do apologise. If your question isn't on this week's Q&A, it will be on next week's. If you are new to the channel, all I do here is document my journey taking Mounjaro, try and share what I've learned in the past 7 odd months with anyone that may be a little bit behind me in the journey or considering starting taking Mounjaro. So it's all about community, it's all about sharing the knowledge, all the tips that I've picked up along the way, and obviously sharing updates as to how my journey is also going before I move into maintenance at some point in the future. Fingers crossed. If you'd like to subscribe to the channel, please do. You're going to get an honest, open and frank account of what it's like to take Mounjaro. Don't forget to like the video, and of course if you've got any questions for Saturday's Q&A, leave them down below. And if you've just got a comment or you want to ask a question but you don't want it on Q&A, also ask that down below. Mark the Q&A ones Q&A. Hope that makes sense. Thanks as always for your support. Big news also, and I can't thank you all enough for this, the support I get from everyone who watches the videos literally blows my little mind. But we actually went over 3,000 subs earlier in the week, and I am absolutely buzzing about that. When I started this channel, never for 1 minute thought that that would ever be the case. And now I just want it to get bigger, better, more interesting, more educational, and I want to share my journey to anyone that's willing to take a little bit of time to listen to it. We're going to get into some of your questions now, and let's see what we got this week. So first up today, we've got a question from Derek East 6221, and Derek's had issues in the past with some side effects that have been bothering him for quite a while now. Yeah, so he's been quite troubled by all this, and it's a bit of a shame to read. As you know, I'm having issues with side effects taking Mounjaro. He's diabetic, but he's not taking any diabetic medication anymore, apart from the Mounjaro. He's dropped his dose from 5mg to 2.5mg. Last weekend was good with no real issues, but at the time of writing, coming off a bad night, suffering from bloated stomach and bad wind and sulphur burping. Basically, does anyone else have similar symptoms to this? They don't tend to start. He takes his injection on a Thursday, but they don't tend to start until the Saturday, so they seem a little bit delayed. And he also mentions that his weight loss has been static for 3 months. I know we've sort of touched on this before, Derek. For me, as a non-medical professional, can't state that enough. I really think you need to be speaking to your medical professional, your GP or your pharmacist regarding this. There are a few easy wins when it comes to the sulphur burps. There's like a 3-pronged attack on the sulphur burps really, which is dietary changes, avoid sulphur-rich foods, stay hydrated, reduce sugars and carbs when you can. And there's also your home remedies, which is herbal teas, apple cider vinegar and baking soda. And I will pop all these on the screen for you, Derek. And then you've got your over-the-counter medications like antacids and Pepto-Bismol, and it is also mentioned that probiotics can help with gut health and reduce gas production. So there are all things that you probably need to try, Derek, but ultimately with the issues you've been having, and it's been quite long term as well, I'm thinking medical professional for you. I hope that's okay, mate, and I look forward to hearing from you again soon. Right, we have a question from Ronald McMartin. Question, I believe you're doing a 5mg dose from a 7.5mg pen. Yeah, that's right. If so, what do you do with the remaining 0.2 millilitres left, which is a full 2.5mg, even after the golden dose? As it's not a full dose, do you just dispose of it? Keen not to have wastage. What I will do, Ronald, is I'll go a little bit over on the doses, to be honest, spread it out over the month. So although I'm saying I'm taking a 5mg, I'm probably taking a tiny little bit more than that. I just take a tiny bit extra. It's not going to hurt me, it's not going to harm me in any way. And I'm more than happy to do that. Obviously, if you do that, you do so at your own risk. Right, this one's a fab question, and it's from Ranox1. How do you know when to stop taking Mounjaro or to slow down? I've now lost 20 kilos on Mounjaro, and I'm at a weight that is good for me, although I'm still technically in the overweight category according to the BMI index. First things first, absolutely well done. You've lost a massive amount of weight there. It's fantastic, so good on you for that. Ultimately, I think we all know that BMI is not a great indicator of where you are, where you should be. If I went by BMI, I'd probably end up about 12, 13 stone. I'm 6'3" tall. I would literally look like a beanpole. I've set my goal at 16 stone. I'll put that in pounds there. I've set my goal at that, but that's kind of what I've decided where would be the best fit for me, how I would feel, how I feel now, how I feel I'm gonna, how I feel now and how I think I'm gonna feel when I get to 16 stone. I may get to 16 stone and I might decide, no, I probably need to lose a bit more, and I'll hover around that, I'd imagine. Ultimately, BMI, just a guide, wouldn't take too much out of that anyway. You've got to do it on how you feel and how you look, and listen to advice from family members, because if they think you're getting too slim or you're losing too much weight, they're going to tell you. It's not like one of those things where someone in work, someone in the office says to you, oh, you've lost enough now, oh, you don't want to lose any more. You want to take that advice from people you can trust. Trust the people you trust and do it completely how you feel. Right, we're certainly flying through them today, aren't we? So Nikki T 6498 Q&A, have you or anyone noticed or experienced dry eyes whilst taking Mounjaro? On my 3rd month, still on 2.5 milligrams, and I've noticed the last few weeks dry eyes, slight discomfort, nothing too bad. Drinking plenty of water, but still a potential side effect for me. There are known issues with eyesight in taking Mounjaro. I'm not a medical professional, but it is, and it's well documented. I think it was Robbie Williams, wasn't it, the singer from Take That back in the day, mentioned that he's going blind from taking Mounjaro. Whether that's just clickbait, who knows. If you have experienced it, then please leave a comment down below and help out Nikki T 6498. Not something I've ever experienced. My eyesight's not great anyway, but I can't attribute that to taking the Mounjaro because I've been wearing reading glasses for a long time now. If you're in any doubt, speak to your optician, speak to your pharmacist, speak to your GP. I've recently had an eye test and there was nothing negative that came back from that eye test apart from my eyesight's getting worse, which it would do because I'm getting old. So yeah, if you're concerned, speak to a medical professional. But good question, and I appreciate that, thank you. Right, this one's from Sean Goodwin 3518. And this kind of leads back to the question from Derek a little bit earlier in the video where he mentioned about the sulfur burps. So Sean says, one for the Q&A, apple cider vinegar, who else takes it before bed? I 100% do, but has anyone else found this first thing in the morning? I also take lemon water with apple cider vinegar and a 1/4 teaspoon bicarb of soda. Everything you say there, Sean, is pretty much the home remedies for the sulfur burps and the stomach discomfort when taking medicated weight loss, Mounjaro, GLPs, Ozempic and all that kind of stuff. So it makes perfect sense. It 100% makes perfect sense. It's not something I do, but if you do it, if you do that, leave it down below in the comments. I don't personally do that because I don't suffer from those side effects. If it's working for you and with no issues whatsoever, then yeah, why not? Rightio then, so that is all the questions from this week. And I think we managed to cover them all. So if you do have a question for next week's, please leave it down below in the comments and mark it Q&A for me. Really appreciate you watching this video and spending a little bit of your Saturday with me. As always, if you wish to support the channel, there's many ways to do it. There is a buy me a coffee link, which I will put in the description. There are my affiliate links down below where I may earn 3 or 4 pence if you buy one of the products that I currently use. There's also a link to the Hume body analyzer that I've been using for the past 2-3 weeks, which is a fantastic bit of kit. And if all that fails, you wish to support the channel in another way, you can now become a member of the channel. If you become a member of the channel, you'll get a few extra benefits, early access to my videos, and a shout out on the channel. How cool would that be, eh? But as always, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, put your bell on, turn on your notifications, leave a comment. Hype, yeah, let's hype this video. Let's see if we can get some hypes on this video. I'll be back on Wednesday with a really interesting video, which I'm sure you're all going to find absolutely fantastic. In the meantime, I'll stick a few links on for a few of my other videos, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. And as always, thanks again for watching.